possibilities are endless when it comes to photographing water in motion. Today, I'll show you how to work with your camera's shutter speed to stop the action or give the water a sense of movement. You know, think about all the possibilities there are when you're shooting a subject like water. Now, shooting moving water can be a lot of fun because just adjusting your camera settings, you can create some really cool effects with the water. The first thing I'll teach you is how to adjust the shutter speed on your camera to create some really cool effects with the water. Water is everywhere in nature, but why is it such a challenge to capture its beauty in a photograph? I'm headed over to my student Laura Pier's house to teach her how to take photographs of water in motion in her amazing backyard water garden. Hey Laura, how you doing?
Erin, great, how are you?
Wonderful. I took a look at your picture back at the studio.
Okay.
I think I know just what we need to do today.
Okay.
Let's start our first lesson by learning about creating cool effects with water.
Okay.
Just by adjusting the shutter speed on your camera.
All right.
But no matter what camera you have, the same photographic principles are still going to apply.
Okay.
All right. Let's start with using a fast shutter speed.
Okay.
And a fast shutter speed is typically, say, 250th of a second or higher. And by using a fast shutter speed, it will capture the water in midair, freeze it right in action, so you'll see all those little droplets.
Okay, now what about if you reduce the shutter speed?
Good question. If you use a slower shutter speed, like say 30th of a second or lower, it's going to blur the action. So if the water's moving, it'll appear sort of blurry and ethereal looking.
Okay.
But whenever I shoot with a slow shutter, I like to use a tripod. Okay. And that way the water will be blurred, but everything else will be in sharp focus. When using your tripod, make sure it's secure. Even though tripods are steadier than humans, wind or someone walking nearby can cause the camera to slightly shake. While you may not notice it with your eyes, a slight shake will greatly affect the pictures you take at slower shutter speeds. There are a couple of tricks you can use to make sure your tripod is steady. Try hanging your camera bag off the tripod for added weight, and avoid raising that center column. This seriously increases the risk of camera shake. Also, avoid extending the legs on your tripod as far as they'll go. Digital cameras offer photographers great control over their images. One way is by changing the shutter speed. Check your owner's manual to see how to change the shutter speed on your particular camera. Play around with your shutter speed. It's fun to experiment and find which speed gives you the effect you had in mind. On most cameras, you can change the shutter speed on your camera by going into the manual mode and then adjusting it up or down. A slower shutter speed typically will be 1/30th of a second or slower. Remember, the slower the shutter speed you select, the more blur you'll get. Fast shutter speeds are considered to be 1/200th of a second and higher. The faster the shutter speed, the better chance that you'll capture the action of water freezing in midair. Control of the shutter makes it possible to capture a professional-looking picture of water in motion that really stands out. Don't be afraid to play with your angles. Stand on a chair or ladder, or just hold the camera up above your head to get that bird's eye view. Or shoot from down below. Get down on all fours, lie down, or crouch. Whatever you have to do to change your angle and give your lens a chance to capture something you don't normally see. For more information on working with shutter speed and composition, log on to the website at DIYnetwork.com. While you're there, take a look at some of the other pictures we took.